What's up, fight fans, and welcome back to another KO breakdown here on the Props HQ Network. I am the fight analyst, Garrett Kerman. With me, as always, my man, Joe Danger himself, Jesse Hobson. What's up, man? How's it going?
A lot of running and gunning. You know the drill.
Yep.
Off air, we were just talking about it. Did a quick interview today. Interviewed an up-and-coming horror director, so look for that on cinedump.com.
Nice.
But a lot of life happening. As you can notice, the bags in my eyes. It is pouring down rain, but we're here to break down fights. I wouldn't rather be anywhere else. What's up, my man?
Absolutely, man. I'm glad to be here too. I'm glad to be back. We had a week hiatus. Unfortunately, some things happened. We couldn't get together last night, but we're here Thursday night breaking down some fights for you guys. UFC Paris, first ever UFC fight card in France, because they just lifted the ban on MMA as a whole just about a year ago. So here we are, first fight card, and it's a good one. Heavyweight matchup between Cyril Gane and Tai Tuivasa. We got a co-main event between Robert Whittaker and Marvin Vettori. It's card stacked from top to bottom, especially with a lot of international prospects. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to breaking this thing down and making some money and putting money in your pockets. I know we've been on a little bit of a skid as of late.
Some of us have.
Yeah, some of us, which means just one half. This half right here, was on a little bit of a skid. We got back on the right track on Tuesday Night Contender Series. I'm very happy there. So we're looking to, keep the ball rolling here into the weekend, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling refreshed. Needed that week off to kind of, rejuvenate, get the blood flowing. Sometimes breaking down these fights and looking over it every single day. Watching it, listening about it. Sometimes you kind of need a break. The fighters need a break. We, as bettors, need a break. We need to just kind of regroup, get back into swinging things, and kick some ass and make some money. That's what we're doing. We're gonna get back on the hot streak, just like we were just a few weeks ago. Crazy hot streak. I'm ready to get into it.
Yeah, I'm happy too, man. I didn't recognize that this was the first Paris or France card. That's pretty cool. I mean, some fights are better than others, but let's start with one of the ones that's a little bit on the more lackluster side and build our way up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let's get right down to it. Our first fight up is in the women's. Technically, it's in the women's featherweight division. I believe it's a catchweight at 145 pounds because it was a short notice fight for Stephanie Edgar that came in taking the fight after her horrible performance against Mayra Bueno Silva.
Did she not tap?
I'm pretty sure she tapped.
She tapped.
She tapped. And she's taking on newcomer Aileen Perez. Right now, the line set at minus 250 for Edgar. The comeback on Perez plus 210. Who do you got?
Yeah, this Alien Perez or Aileen Perez, some of the wildest tape I've ever watched, bro. Like I'm talking like, a few weeks ago, I was talking about that guy fighting on Tuesday night, fighting around lawn chairs. This is like third basement, like YMCA video, some of these, which is cool. I mean, it's like the shit that you like I'm big into VHS tapes. It's the type of stuff that like my circle trades, amongst each other. It's funny to see it on YouTube. It's funny to see it like find its way into tape study. But yeah, redemption time for Stephanie Edgar. God, I hope so. This seems like such a layup. Initially, the initial matchup for Perez seemed like it was kind of built in her favor. Seemed like they wanted to kind of build her up. She's the new cutie on the block. Got the nice little booty on her. It seemed pretty obvious that the UFC wanted her to, squash that initial matchup. But jumping from that fight to to Edgar is a little crazy. I'm hoping for Edgar inside the distance, as Perez is fairly green based on the footage that I've acquired through scandalous VHS trades. But, regardless of how this one ends, I just want to see that booty back in the UFC. So let's get a good one for Edgar, and then let's invite Perez back and, ring girl, what have you. I'm all for it. She's definitely has a fan in me.
Yeah. Obviously Perez definitely lackluster, if that's like pretty much like it's an understatement of her abilities, but yet here she is in the UFC at 7-1. Technically should be 8-0 because I think her one loss was a disqualification. But
that's the best fight. If you guys haven't seen it, hit me up. I will send you the video. That's the basement video. That's one of them.
But not very impressed with what I've seen at all. And then yes, the Zara Farrenfer fight was a lot more favorable for her.
Yeah.
She had a chance of winning that fight. And now she gets the biggest step of a competition that she's ever had in her entire career on just like about a week's notice. So she had no way to remotely type a game plan or get ready for the judoka throws that she's gonna have to deal with, the jiu-jitsu that she's gonna have to deal with. I'm expecting Edgar to get her out of there in round 1. I expect her to win by submission or even a ground and pound TKO. Both of those are pretty nicely lined. Plus 220 for the sub, all the way up to like plus 400, plus 475 for the TKO. She's getting her out of there early. I like the under. I think the under. I mean, the fight won't start round 3. It's plus 100.
That seems like a pretty
I honestly, that's my favorite play for this fight. Is the fight doesn't start round 3. How does this fight get to round 3? If Edgar doesn't get the early finish, she's losing. Already that she's probably losing the fight.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna be an ugly ass fight. I'd rather just take the fight. Won't see round 3 at plus 100. I think there's a ton of value there. I'm expecting I finish inside 2 rounds. I mean, it should be 1 takedown, and that's all she wrote. Like that's how much better she is on the mat. She's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. She's won numerous jiu-jitsu tournaments. She's competing in a ton. She's got the judoka black belt, so she should be able to hip toss this girl. She doesn't have to cut a ton of weight. She should be bigger. She should be stronger. I mean, everything points to her to win. That's why I kind of don't want to go all in because of the shit she pulled her last fight. But ultimately, she should get this job done. How did she not get the job done? I mean, this is as low level could possibly be. You beat Jessica Rose Clark. You dominated her. You should be able to beat the living dog shit out of Perez. Come on.
I feel like it's. Yeah, I mean, is Jessica Rose Clark still in the UFC?
She is.
Okay, well then I can already see the writing on the wall. Perez fights Jessica Rose Clark up next. Winner take all.
Well, I would hope Jessica Rose Clark wins that fight.
Yeah, you also thought that she was going to beat Edgar too. She's not good. She's not good.
Unfortunately, I've won a ton on her, and then
lost
on her.
Well, it's like she has a lot of distractions. I feel like, and I mean, in all the interviews too that I've heard, I don't know. This isn't the Jessica Rose Clark podcast, but she also does miss home. Like it's almost like she gives every reason as to why she can't win a fight versus like why she can win a fight. And it's like, all right, well, if you want me to bet against you, you're giving me every reason to. Right. But yeah, back to Perez, man. I mean, the Tapology photo says everything. Like
it's not even a fighting photo.
Yeah, it's like an Instagram. Like I don't even know what are you modeling? Is it just a bathing suit? Like,
no, she's modeling the landscape behind her, right?
I mean, like I said, I hope she for your sake, I hope she gets finished in round 2, but I hope she has a decent showing. That way it's not one and done. I mean, I wouldn't think so based on the fact that they set her up to win the initial matchup. But yeah, we'll see. I'm excited to see it. It'll be fun.
Okay, I can't say I'm excited to see it, but I'm excited for that there's fights on. Let's just put that.
Well, I think it'll be inside the distance. There's no other way around it. Edgar round 1, round 2.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a no-brainer to the point where it's like I kind of have to bet it just out of principle.
Yeah.
At this point, because there's levels. There's when you say there's levels to this, there's levels to this. I mean, there's not a single person Perez has ever faced in her life that's on the same wavelength as Edgar.
Yeah. Well, even against the initial matchup, I was considering fading her just because of that exact reason. Like there was 0-0-0 or 0-5. These aren't. She hasn't fought anyone.
Soccer moms.
Yeah.
Soccer moms. This lady is fighting soccer moms.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I'm
Moving
into
on,
it.
we've talked too much about that fight. Let's keep it moving. Our next fight up is in the bantamweight division between Christian Quinones and Khalid Taha. Right now, Taha minus 120, and to come back on Quinones plus 100. What do you got?
Yeah, you know, Taha, he's never really been all that impressive to me. Even like whenever this fight got kind of like put together, I was like, man, I really need to watch some footage on him. But then I was like, nah, I'm good. This is boring. It didn't last long. I'll just say that much. Unfortunately, I think his skid continues here. Christian Quinones, has every advantage in this fight. And while normally I would bet against the Dana White Contender Series alum, I think you should be able to push the pace and keep Taha from finding his rhythm, because that is really the only time when Taha starts to like kind of like take over a fight is whenever he finds his rhythm. Outside of that, the dude looks lost. So I don't think either guy gets a finish, but I do think Quinones likely gets his hand raised at the end of a 15-minute lackluster battle. It'll look one-sided, and Quinones will, I don't know, like stick around, I guess. But Taha, I don't know, he might be out here after this one.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. Honestly, I like Quinones as the underdog here. I like everything that you pointed out. I think he's going to be the aggressor. I think he's going to be coming forward. I think he's going to be throwing more volume, landing more. And what I like about him is he has 19 professional fights coming into this matchup. So he's got a ton of experience, and that experience is definitely going to help him in his UFC debut. He looked good in his Contender Series fight, dominated there. He's won 4 in a row. I think he's won like 6 out of his last 7 or something along the lines of that. And I just think this is a good matchup for him. Taha, yes, he's fought the better competition, but he's won 3-0-1. One of those fights got called back because of PEDs that he took, which is kind of the reason why he probably won. But he also fought a guy in Silva who's basically a flyweight, so he fought a guy even smaller than him. And Taha, as small as it is,
Yeah.
He's got power and he's got okay grappling, but that's about it. If you're just busier than him, you have a good chin on you and you have good movement, you beat him all day, every day. So I'm got Quinones here. I think he's super tough and super durable to be able to hang in there if Taha lands. And he's definitely going to be the busier fighter. And if you want to take him by decision, I think it's a pretty good lineup, plus 230. Hold on, where is it? To win by decision, plus 225, plus 200. I don't expect him to get him out of there. I don't think he's a big finishing threat. I mean, I think his last 2 or 3 wins have come by unanimous decision. I expect him to win a clear-cut decision. And if you're getting over 2-1 on a decision prop in a fight that mainly goes to decision. I mean, Taha, I don't believe gets finished much either. So I'm expecting Quinones just go in there and get the job done. And I love that decision line.
Yeah. Well, especially the fact that Taha's not on PEDs supposedly anymore. I feel like that kind of works in our favor. He might not have as much power. He might not be as good at grappling. He might not be able to control Quinones like he would have had he been on the juice or whatever.
Right.
I just I think we are in agreement, and I was very curious to see what you thought about this, but yeah, I think it's going to be Quinones' decision.
Yep, I like that, and I really do like that prop. I might have to take a stab at that, especially considering the line that we have there. I think we're getting these prop lines are looking good pretty early. Edgar by decisions over plus 200. Quinones by decision is over plus 200. I think those are pretty good to start off the night. Moving on, our next fight up is in the lightweight division between Benoit Saint Denis and Gabriel Miranda. Right now, Denis minus 285. The comeback of Miranda plus 240. Who do you got?
Yeah, so we were talking about levels earlier with the Eggers fight, and while Gabriel tends to lose by decision, I don't think that he is anywhere near as good as Saint Denis or Saint Denis, whatever the hell you want to call him. I assume these guys find their way to the ground because that seems to be where both of them are comfortable. Gabriel's also fairly comfortable down there, but I think that he'll be underestimating his opponent and probably get dealt his first submission loss. Saint Denis is leaps and bounds beyond the caliber of this Gabriel Miranda, and while his mustache is extremely cool, I just don't see him getting it done. I think he gets, like I said, gets subbed. his first submission loss on his record.
I just don't think everybody should go and be betting Saint Denis at minus 285 all the way up to minus 300 just because of the fact that he beat a non-UFC level talent in his last fight. I was not impressed. He doesn't have a lot of experience. He's only 9-1. I know 8 of his wins have come by submission. But the thing is, he's a much better striker than Miranda, and he's gonna go and make this a grappling match because that's where he's comfortable in, and that's where I don't think he should be doing because he's gonna give Miranda ample opportunities for him to snatch a sub. 15 of Miranda's 16 wins have come by submission. He's got triangles, he's got arm bars, he's got guillotines, he's got rear naked chokes. This man has numerous submission wins, and Saint Denis is going to give him the opportunity just to snatch his neck just one time. Get tired once, go for a takedown, and get your neck snatched. I mean, the dude's pretty well built for lightweight. I mean, he's not a small guy. He packs on a lot of power, packs on a lot of muscle. If this fight is just straight up grappling for 15 minutes and he doesn't get the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt out of there, Miranda's definitely going to have a chance to snatch something. I'm not going to go run away and bet on Miranda, but I wouldn't go and think Saint Denis is a lock of all locks. Maybe I could be wrong, but I would never play this man at minus 285, minus 300, especially if he's going to give the type of fight that Miranda wants, and that's a grappling fight.
Yeah, that's my only concern, but Miranda also, a lot of those guys that he subbed, I mean, have horrible records.
Right. But he's going to give him the opportunity to happen.
I agree.
I don't think the chances of it likely happening is very high, but God forbid Saint Denis slows down at any given moment, goes for an ill-advised takedown, leaves his neck out there, he's probably going to get subbed. That's the only thing I can see happening.
Yeah.
Because he's gonna go balls to the wall early. He's probably gonna dominate him at least the first half of the fight just by ground and pound and pressure and pace and and taking him down and all of that. I could see that, but it's where that second half of that fight, we don't know how far and how much he can really push that pace. If Miranda makes him work a little bit, he can kind of tire him out, snatch a neck, do something crazy, get a reversal, sweep him. It's definitely possible. The dude is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, at least. And he trains at a reputable camp down here at MMA Masters in South Florida. So it's not like he's a bum training with bums. So
he just fights bums.
He just fights bums.
Well, no, I mean, like, it's funny because we have the same analysis, but it's like the opposing idea.
I mean, if this
I wouldn't bet him either, though.
If this line was close.
Yeah,
I would probably take a shot on Denis, but seeing how wide this line is, taking a shot on Miranda wouldn't hurt. Am I saying go and bet Miranda? No, but I'm just saying be cautious of just going all
like
in.
Like a parlay type situation.
Yeah.
Also, wasn't Miranda like a recent replacement or a addition?
Yeah.
See, that's also what's kind of weird about this one. And I feel like the line, people just saw the initial line and just started
hammering it.
Yeah. But I mean, I see your point, but I don't see. I mean, I don't know. I think that there's an opportunity for a live bet here. So if Denis starts slowing down, then after round 1, then you could bet Miranda.
That's true. He opened as a minus 200 favorite, and he got bet all the way up to minus 285 on DraftKings so far.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet minus 285. That's too risky considering what both of these guys' specialties are.
Right.
I mean, I'm curious to see which one plays out, but also we could just be getting ready for a 15-minute scramble fest, and it could also be a close decision. So I mean, it could be one or the other.
Right. Yeah. I feel like it's gonna be a lot closer than the line suggests. Maybe Saint Denis goes out there and mops the floor with him. I could see that, but I'm just gonna go on the ladder and expect a close decision between these two. We'll see.
Cool.
Moving on. Yeah, was it? Moving on, our next fight up is in the middleweight division between Joaquin, Buckley, and Nasruddin Amavov. Right now, Amavov is minus 255 all the way up to minus 275. The comeback on Buckley is 215 all the way up to plus 220. Who do you got?
I'm actually surprised the line hasn't moved more because Amanov has every advantage in this one. And while Buckley, he's fun to watch, I just don't see him coming away with a victory here. Amanov should control every aspect of this fight and probably run away with it. I'm assuming he gets it done via KO, but I think the reason why we're seeing a lot of love for Buckley is just because he gets exciting wins. There's nothing else to it, really. I mean, maybe not his last few fights, but I mean, that's what everyone knows him for, is the exciting wins. You and I know him from back when he was in LFA,
Right.
But I just don't see him being able to pull that off again. That's lightning in a bottle, and that's another reason. Yeah, there you go. He'll never do that ninja kick again. He's too short, too stout. I mean, I like the guy. I think he's fucking weird, and I like the fact that he brings that like one guy to be in his corner, which is cool. But
Murcielago. I love that guy.
Yeah, Amanov KO. That's what I got, and I think we see it.
I don't know, man. I just don't like that line. Amavov. Granted, should he be that heavy of a favorite? Probably, but I just think
I thought he'd be heavier. Honestly, just there's so many advantages for him.
Yeah, he's taller. He's rangier. He's shown good takedown defense. He's shown that he can reverse position well. He's a sniper on the feet. He uses his distance management very, very well. But man, Buckley's a dog. He sometimes just outdogs you. I mean, and he's always improving.
Yeah,
he's gotten better and better after each and every fight. Other than that fight that he got caught, other than that, I mean, he was progressed in every single fight. He's gotten better with his wrestling. I do think he's got a little bit of wrestling advantage. He's got the power advantage. And he even has the reach advantage in this fight too. Believe it or not, he's got a 1-inch reach advantage.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah, he's much shorter, but he's got the reach advantage. But
let's see if he uses it.
I don't want to go and just bet Amavov at minus 255, minus 270. Granted, this fight should be on the main card. I can't believe it's so buried in the prelims, which is absurd. Because Amavov is a legit contender. He really is.
Well, and Buckley is, I mean, as far as like mid-tier viewers, I mean, I would say he's kind of a name. You would want to make Amavov, whatever you would want to make his name his star a little bit brighter. You know what I'm saying?
And he's from France too, no less. Yeah. I'm not understanding why are we putting Alessio Dakirico and Roman Coppola on the main card for, and when one of them, if not both of them, might get cut after that fight.
Yeah, but honestly, it probably has to do with like pacing, like kind of like to please the fans, like France kind of just scattered in there, so that way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It's like a Led Zeppelin album. You got to have a couple good ones in scattered throughout. They're not all winners,
Ultimately, I think Amavov probably gets the job done.
That's right.
But I probably would not bet this fight because I think Buckley's going to have his opportunities to land something and just to make it closer. Just being a grinder. And I think he could do that. And he's always going to come forward too. He's always going to be in the fight. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than the line suggests. So we'll see. But I think Amavov gets the job done.
I think it goes down a lot like the Kevin Holland fight.
Could happen. I mean, he is tall and rangy like Kevin Holland. Not as tall, but
I think it's going to be similar. Almost like a big brother scenario.
Maybe. We'll see.
I know these things.
We'll see. Moving on, our next fight up is in the lightweight division between Faris Ziam and Mikhail Figlak. Right now, Figlak, I think that's how you say it. I have no idea. Minus 200 to come back on Ziam plus 170. Who you got?
I like that dude's name. I was hoping for a better line here. From the tape I've watched, I'm really liking this Figlak guy. It's like it's like a Mortal Kombat character, like Nob Sebot versus Figlak. This guy pushes the pace, man. He has a hell of a gas tank, constantly looks for the win. Ziam isn't bad, but I wouldn't exactly say a lot of his wins are all that impressive. I feel like Figlock can get inside. He should be able to work the body, and he'll probably have ultimately his way with Ziam. While I don't think he'll get him out of here, I think Figlock by decision is the play because and hear me out, because this is Figlock's first go with the UFC. I think he's going to be a little timid, and I mean, even though he's probably the better fighter, I think he's going to play it cool. And then this is like the introduction, and the next fight will be his coming out party. Look for the next one to be the KO. I'm just excited to see him in the UFC.
Yeah, he's a really good prospect. 8-0. He went 10-2 as an amateur, so he's got a ton of experience. I mean, like you said, he pushes the pace, pushes the pressure on, throws a lot of good combinations, heavy hands, decent wrestling, decent grappling. He can mix things up very, very well. And what I love to do is fade the fuck out of Fares Ziam because he is not good. This dude is not a good fighter. He should be 0-4 in the UFC. He should not have a single fucking win. He got bullshit wins over Jamie Malarkey and Luigi Benjamini. Luigi Benjamini was beating his ass, even controlling him on the mat, and Malarkey was beating his ass and controlling him on the mat. And then somehow, some way, this man is gifted wins. He should be 0-4. Figlock's going to fuck him up. He's going to come forward, and then that's it. I mean, and this dude should get the boot. He should not be in the UFC. He's not UFC caliber. He showed it in every single UFC fight. He doesn't belong there. Figlock, as our Forrest Daniels is saying. Hey, Figlock gets the job done.
I was trying to be nice by saying he's not that bad, but hey, Garrett, tell me how you really feel.
Oh, I'm just saying I think he's dog shit. I'm just being honest.
I'm gonna tweet him after this.
I just don't think he's good, man. I mean, it is what it is. No offense to him. I just don't think he's UFC caliber. He probably is the super nicest guy out there. So I'm probably being very harsh, and I kind of am. I just don't think he's UFC caliber. I don't think he's good. I don't think he's shown that he's good. All 4 of his fights, he's shown that he's not good. And then Figlock has shown that he's been good in every one of his fights. considering he's 8-0 right now.
Yeah.
So yes, I think Figlock gets the job done. Looks good and impressive in his debut.
I think the issue with Ziam is that he doesn't use his gifts. He doesn't use his range.
Nope.
I think if he maybe finds a different camp and like understands his body. I mean, he's went through puberty, so I hope he understands it enough. But I think that he has the tools to be a decent fighter. But
I agree there. He definitely has the tools. It's just maybe, like you said, maybe needs a camp change because he doesn't throw enough volume either.
Yeah.
He just lets his opponents dictate the pace. He tends to slow down and when he slows down, his movement slows down. In order for him to win, he needs his movement to win because he gets hit.
Yep, he does. He's gonna get hit. He's gonna get hit on Saturday.
Absolutely, he's gonna get hit a ton. All right. Let's keep it moving. Our next fight up is in the middleweight division between Dustin Solstice and Busapian Magomedov. Jesus Christ. Right now, the line set at -265 all the way up to -278 on Magomedov. To come back on Solstice, +225. Who do you got?
Yeah, it's no secret. I'm a big Dustin Solstice fan. We cashed big on him a couple weeks ago. I think he may be a bit outmatched here, though.
A bit?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
But Magama Dayoff, he's a little bit bigger than Dwight Grant. I'll just say that, and riding that high, being able to pick someone up and slam them, that's cool. But it'll surely be missed here, Daddy. I feel like Magomedov, I feel like he's seasoned enough to stop the takedowns, obviously, and he's gonna probably style on our boy Dustin. Probably via ground and pound. It's going to be a bad day at the office for my boy Dustin.
Oh, I am extremely confident that Magomedov gets the fucking job done.
Magomedov.
Magomedov. Oh man, God, today's been rough. But yeah, I mean, I almost like I am supremely confident he gets the job done. And he's a better striker,
Yeah.
and he's a better grappler. And if you've seen who Solstice loses to, guys that can help grapple him, and surely that Magomedov is 1000% way better than Solstice in every facet of grappling and jiu-jitsu and ground and pound and all of the above. Magomedov gets the job done. Cash it. I think he, inside the distance is definitely the way to go. It's plus 120. That should be literally minus 175. Him to win by knockout, it's plus 175. Not too bad. Him to win by submission, plus 460. I kind of like that. I definitely like that. I think he could get a submission. But either way, Magomedov round 1 plus 275 all the way up to plus 380. I love that. Magomedov in round 2 plus 450 all the way up plus 600. I love that too. He's getting the job done. He's gonna style on him. He's gonna beat the dog shit out of him. And he's gonna drag his ass, and then Solstice gets cut. Goodbye.
Well, I don't know if he'll get cut. I think he has one more in him. He has one more in him.
No, he doesn't. I mean, he'll be 1-4 in the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, if he's cut, then Dwight Grant should be cut.
He's already been cut.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I literally just sent you that like the other day. Yeah, you're right. Okay, well, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, these are fighters that are on the cusp of getting cut. Farazia, on he's probably gonna get Khalid Taha. Probably gonna get cut.
That sucks, man. I hope he comes back. I hope he makes.
Bro, you see all the fighters they're signing off the Contender Series?
Yeah,
they need to cut some people. They literally are throwing Solstice to the wolves. They're like, sink or swim, my man. Sink or swim. Let us know. If you lose, you're out. If you win, okay, we'll give you another fight. But if you lose, goodbye.
We'll give you another fight to another bigger and better.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do. Do you see who Solstice is fighting? Everybody that he should not be fighting.
Yeah. Well, isn't he? He's from Tuesday night, isn't he?
He is. And
yeah.
And that's why they're like, okay, you came in, you had your fun, you fought a little bit, you made a little money. Now it's time for us to say goodbye.
Yeah. That sucks. I mean, I understand the Hunsucker or whatever the hell his name is, but I mean, that dude can't even make it out of round 1. I mean, at least Dustin can get to round 2.
Death, taxes, and Harry Hunsucker getting knocked the fuck out in round 1.
Yeah, touche. I like it.
Let's keep it moving.
That's a good shirt idea. Someone print that.
We need it. We need it for this podcast.
Yep.
All right, moving on. Our next fight up is our first fight on the main card in the featherweight division, and arguably my favorite fight on the card, between Charles Jourdain and Nathaniel Wood. Right now, the line set at minus 150 for Jourdain to come back on Wood, plus 130. Who do you got?
Yeah. Every time Wood fights, I say this. I've never been impressed with Nathaniel Wood. Never.
But you will be here.
He's a great prospect, sure. But just hold on. Sorry, I need to regroup. I had to think about what you said and how much I dislike it. But I just feel like with all the hype, he should be a bit more evolved by now. I took the shot on Rosa. I know you did too.
I did.
And I feel like his size will play a huge role in this one. I'm talking about Jourdain. I feel like his size will play a huge role in this one. He's faster than Rosa. And so I'm expecting and hoping for a KO here. Rosa did have his moments, but I mean, they were few and far between. That's the difference between him and Jourdain, though, is that Jourdain is going to knock this boy out, and then he's going to send him packing back to the I don't even know where I was going with that, but I don't think Nathaniel Wood's all that good.
I've been impressed with Wood. I mean, he beat the dog shit and dragged Rosa's ass. Granted, Rosa is not Charles Jourdain, and I understand that. But we've seen Charles Jourdain, lose in fights that he should win, like the Arosa fight.
Yeah.
We've seen him get taken down numerous times. We've seen him give up bad positions on the mat. And then Wood is the much better grappler between the two. There's not that much of a size difference considering they both have 69-inch reach. He's only 3 inches taller, and Wood looks like a featherweight now. I mean, the dude is very much well put together for the featherweight division, and I think the 2 years away has really helped him. He's also fought more. Other than Burgos, I think he's fought the better competition too. Look at who Jourdain's beaten: Lando Venata, Andre Ewell, and Marcel Rojo. You're talking about 2 bantamweights, and then Lando Venata. Seriously?
Yeah, and I think I think Venata's the only one still in the UFC, right?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. No, I think Rojo. I think Rojo is in the still in the UFC as well. But
I know Ewell is not. I mean,
Ewell's not. But I'm like, he's not beating good competition. Granted, there's a good discussion that he could have beaten Burgos, but also he was just giving Burgos rounds and by just being controlled on the mat and just not doing enough. Yes, he put it on him in round 3, but I mean that was literally it. The first 2 rounds where he was getting controlled. You're letting Burgos, who's not a wrestler, control you on the mat, and I think Wood could do the same thing. And I do think he's defensively sound on the feet. I think he's going to have cracking calf kicks. He's super fast. He throws a ton of volume. I mean, they're both landing. I mean, he's outlanding Charles Jourdain 6.32 strikes per minute over Jourdain, who's landing 5.85, and they're both landing 50% of their strikes, which is absurd. And I think Wood has more ways to win. I think he's going to be very competitive on the feet. And if he mixes in the grappling, I think Wood could get it done. I honestly think he's going to cash as an underdog. I like him to win via decision too. I think it's at plus 230. I think he has a chance here. I know everybody's running to the bank and betting on Jourdain because of what he was able to accomplish against someone as high caliber as Burgos. But Wood is, a different ball game because he's not going to stand there and just kind of slug it out with you. He has movement. He has good movement. He's very fast. He's hard to hit. So I mean, his defense is 56%. So you guys are missing a lot of the time. They're only connecting on 44% of their strikes. So yeah, I'm taking Wood here. I think he cashes as an underdog for us.
Well, I guess we'll see. No, you're definitely selling it to me. Initially, I just imagined Jourdain as like a more confident Rosa.
I mean, he's definitely confident. I give him that. I mean, and the dude is extremely powerful. I think a lot of people are underestimating Wood because just because of the last fight that Jourdain had. That's the main reason why he's a favorite here. If Burgos went in there and won 30-27 every single round, Wood would be the favorite in this fight. And just because Jourdain had that one good round, he's now a minus 150 favorite over Wood, who Wood went in there and dogged a true veteran in the UFC. Dogged him, like dragged his ass for 15 minutes. And that was his first fight at 145 pounds. And Rosa was the bigger fighter.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think it's going to be a lot, very, very competitive. And I just think Wood has, like I said, more ways to win, especially if he goes to the grappling. He's the much, much better grappler of the two. So,
well, we'll see. I'm excited. I'm more excited for that one now.
What's up, David? Thanks for joining us, my man. But actually, that's my favorite fight on the card, to be honest with you. It really is. All right, moving on. Our next fight up is in the featherweight division between William Gomez and Jarno Aarons. Right now, the line is set at minus 210 for Gomez, and the comeback on Aarons is plus 185. Who do you got?
This is on the main card.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. I mean, well, at least one of the two is from France, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this was a weird one to break down. Gomez seems to have a few more tools. That's really the extent of my breakdown.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron's isn't bad, but he loses when he faces decent competition, and most of his wins were over guys with little to no experience. I mean, good luck finding any of that tape, outside of maybe his fight. That being said, I don't see either guy getting finished. I believe we do see a decisive win coming from Gomez, though.
Yeah, I agree with that notion. I didn't really pay too much attention to this fight. It's just a fight that I kind of want to pass altogether. I'm not overly impressed with either one. I do think Gomez has more ways to win. I think it's just a little bit better everywhere. He's definitely a more powerful fighter on the feet. Give me Gomez to win in lackluster fight that should not be on the main card. There's two of those on this main card, so we'll get to the other one in a couple of minutes.
I would argue that this one is probably more exciting than the other one.
Oh, it absolutely is, but not by much, though.
Not by much, yeah.
All right, moving on. Our next fight up is in the lightweight division between John Mcdessey and Nasrad Hakaras. Right now, Hakaras minus 230 all the way up to minus 250 to come back on Mcdessey. Plus 172 all the way up to plus 200. Yeah.
Damn. Nasrad, he's had his ups and downs as of late, but I think this match was made to get him back, get him a nice bounce back. Mcdessey is aging, and while he does have a shot if this goes the distance, I think Nasrad either finds the chin and finishes him, or showcases his speed and wins on the scorecards. I really don't see it going any other way. The only chance that Mcdessey somehow gets his hand raised is like a weird, like I said, close decision with Nasrat slowing down maybe at mid fight. So maybe Mcdessey could steal round 2 and then have a decisive round 3. But that's far fetched. It sounds weird even coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, I just Mcdessey is 37 years old. I mean, granted, I know he's 4-1 in his last 5 fights, but he's faced no one even remotely on the same wavelength as Nasrad or anybody that Nasrad has faced. Granted, I know Hakaras has looked, lackluster his last 2 fights, but he faced 2 top 15 opponents in Bobby Green and Dan Hooker, and in those fights, Hakaras was on his bike. He wasn't being able to be the aggressor because he had a lot of firepower coming back at him, a lot of volume coming back at him, where Mcdessey, Hakaras is going to be able to come forward, use his jab. He's got the speed. He's got the speed advantage. He's got the power advantage. He's got the length advantage. He's got the youth advantage. I mean, he's got literally every advantage in this fight to get the win. And we know that Mcdessey isn't good when he's pressured, nonstop pressured. And he likes to work behind his jab just like Hakaras does. So if Hakaras is the one leading the dance with his jab, he has this fight all day. And I'm expecting a nice bounce back spot for him as well.
Yeah, it should be a good one. I know the last fight was pretty, or not the last fight, but the opener is pretty fun. It's a pretty good fight. But I think this one's also going to be a lot of fun too, especially just because this is basically just a matchup to favor Nasrat. And I always like when he does well. He's always entertaining.
I agree. I think it's going to be a really good fight. There are some gems on here. That's one of them. The Charles Jourdain one is another one. The next fight up is definitely the complete opposite of what a gem would be. So let's touch base on that.
Charcoal.
So let's touch base on that. Our next fight up is in the middleweight division between Alessio Dakirico and Roman Coppola. Right now, the line is a dead even minus 110 across the board, and for good fucking reason. Who do you got in this fucking shit show?
Yeah, so when I broke this down, Coppola was the underdog, and I really haven't been all that impressed with Dakirico. And while losing Nicole Roberson doesn't look good either, I think I'm going to take the stab on the initial underdog anyway, with Roman Kopylov. If this goes the distance, which it should, unless somebody finds a random head kick, I'd assume that Kopylov gets the nod based on control and activity. I this is this was like the worst thing to tape. Like
Yeah, no.
the little the tape study that I
So just
do,
you just go to sleep. Just like
yeah,
you just fall asleep. If you want to fall asleep, watch tape on both of these guys. Just watch it. Just go
yeah,
to sleep. It'll be a beautiful night. You'll be having the best sleep ever. I swear.
I don't know. The I just it's hard to bet or hypothetically bet Dakirico because he's horrible, but then it's also hard to bet Coppola
How about
because
this?
he,
How about this? Go make some food.
yeah.
Go take a shit. I mean, it's gonna be like almost halfway through this fight. Just go have fun. Do something else while this fight's going on because it's definitely not one that you're gonna want to sit around and actually pay attention to. So
Well, and you made a good point earlier, and I made a mental note that it's very it's very it's very possible that both of these guys get cut. So it might not even be worth
no,
watching.
no,
Yeah,
no, it's not. Neither one of these two are UFC caliber. Um, Takiriko was earlier in his career, but now he's pretty much done. Coppola definitely was never UFC caliber from the get go, and I don't know why
yeah.
he was even brought into the UFC, let alone still here. But then again, both of these guys are matched up against each other. Why? Because if they suck that bad, deuces to the both of you. Let's bring in the Contender Series guys and see you guys later. Bye bye.
Yep.
There's so many fighters on this card that are gonna get cut. I'm telling you, because they've signed literally like 30 Contender Series fighters and they need to make room for it. So they're just throwing all the guys that they know that are on the end of their contracts that are on losing streaks. They're throwing them on here, getting them off, and then they're signing the new breed that just came up.
Yeah, and I mean this series or this season has been had its ups and downs as well, but I mean this last Tuesday, man, had some of the best fights, and
It did.
I mean I would rather break those down again than have to watch this shit.
No, that's true. Yeah, I know. Okay, as far as breaking down this fight, don't bet on it. Let's start there. But ultimately, I think just Coppola being the younger fighter of the two, and that's pretty much it. I would probably side with him because I don't think either one of them really has advantages in this fight.
Nope.
They're both subpar in everything when it comes to grappling, striking, power, speed, technical abilities. They're extremely subpar everywhere. So I'm not betting on this fight. I'm just gonna go make some food, literally do anything, then watch this. So let's keep it moving because I don't really want to talk too much more about this. All right. And our co-main event, we have this is a great fight, great
Yeah, I like
co-main
this
event.
too.
Like this could have even been a main event for any other fight card, but here we are. This is a fight in the middleweight division between Marvin Vettori and Robert Whittaker. Right now, Whittaker is on -210 all the way up to -250 favorite to come back on Vettori +180 to +190. Who do you got?
What they should do is like cancel the previous fight
Yes.
and then have Vittori win or lose fight somebody else like in the stands because that dude is nuts and he would probably do it. Parking lot, stands, popcorn machine. I enjoy Vittori outside and inside the octagon. I think he's great. The Italian stallion, my dude. Like it's like
No, he's the Italian dream.
the Italian dream. Well, either way, he's the stallion in my heart. He reminds me of like a friend that I never had. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just that guy. And as much as I like him, I just feel like this is a good matchup for Whittaker. He does what he does, jabs, wrestles when needed. We should all we should all just like bow down to Bobby Knuckles, man, because he won the last Izzy fight. We all know it. And he's gonna do the same thing here. He's gonna beat Vittori. He's gonna do it decisively to another decision win, and hopefully it sets up for another Izzy fight because I want to see him. I want to see Whittaker win. I want to see him beat Izzy in Australia or New Zealand. That's gonna be the fucking best because if your boy, the guy that takes pictures with all UFC fighters and is freaking massive next to him. If he doesn't get him out of there, I think Bobby Knuckles has a real shot of doing it. I know there's this narrative going around that Whittaker hasn't evolved, or he hasn't became he's still the same fighter from years ago, and I just don't see that. I do think Vettori has gotten better, but
Who
I
has
mean,
Vettori beaten though?
well, that's just it.
Like
That's exactly where I was going with
his
that.
best win is Paulo Costa.
Yeah, and that wasn't even that. This, I mean, it
He
wasn't like
lost
a.
and he lost 2 rounds
Yep.
in that fight. He lost 2 rounds to Paulo Costa, and then like before that, his best win was Jack Hermanson, I guess.
Well, his best win before that was almost beating Izzy.
Right.
But
I mean,
but
and then Robert Whittaker is literally beating the best of the best his entire career at 185.
yeah, dude, seeing him fight live, like in person, like I know I've told this story before, but I was at the Houston fight with Izzy, and I was surrounded by Izzy fans. Like these are all like, I'm gonna buy Ronda Rousey, McGregor, and maybe even a TJ Dillashaw if I'm feeling frisky that weekend. I'm buying all of those shirts, I'm buying all those pay-per-views, and Israel Adesanya is God. These people were like pissed because Bobby Knuckles was showcasing on your boy. And I think he does that here, shows why he's still in the conversation, and hopefully gets another shot.
I agree. We have Jason chiming in. He's like, Bobby Knuckles is the man. We all know he won the last fight. I'm tired of Izzy kicking legs and running, and the judges giving him the decision. Totally, I agree with that. I agree with that. And he says Vettori has peaked. He isn't beating Bobby Knuckles. Bet the house on Robert Whittaker.
Yeah.
I kind
Well,
of agree.
when I bet on Whittaker whenever he was facing Izzy, man, and I was already counting my winnings, the people next to me were crying, and I'm just like, hell yeah, hell yeah. And then like whenever they announced it, it was just like the fucking place erupted because Izzy fans are like, oh, that's right. But then there's guys like me that actually watch the fight and are like, that shit was close. I know what I saw. Get out of here. But anyway, I think Whittaker wins the decision win and proves why he's still in the conversation.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think Whittaker pretty much checks all the boxes in this matchup. He's the better striker. He's the faster. He's a better counter puncher. He's throws more volume. He's tougher. He's more durable. He's got the better wrestling, jiu-jitsu. I mean, he's literally better than Vettori in every facet of MMA. And I feel like if you're getting minus 210, I think it's a steal because I have him lined at like minus 350. I don't know why this fight is as close as it is. I don't understand why people are even betting on Vettori in the spot. I know he's tough. I know he's good in brawls. He's got some power in his hands, but is he gonna outstrike Whittaker? No. He's gonna knock him out? No. Is he gonna outgrapple him? He's gonna just take him down and beat him up? No. So how is he gonna beat him? I don't see it. I think Whittaker gets back on track. He shows why he's the 1B to Izzy's 1A in the middleweight division. I think Robert Whittaker can even beat Alex Pereira because he's got the wrestling in his back pocket, and Pereira's definitely never faced anyone even remotely on the same wavelength in terms of grappling, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu as Whittaker. But
That's a fight right there. That's a fight. I like that. Yeah. So dude, that would be. Yeah, I hope he calls out that dude. Also, I just want to point out that Forrest Daniels said Adesanya won the second Bobby Knuckles fight. Notice he said it's the Bobby Knuckles fight because Bobby Knuckles won the fight.
But shots fired.
But yeah, man, I think that's the fight. That is a fight and a half right there.
Yeah, and the thing is, what I like about Whittaker, he's like, I don't care about the title right now. He's like, I'm going in there. I'm gonna do my thing, and take what's next. And he's all about just going in there, fighting, and getting his win, and just keeping it moving. and just progressing and just getting better. Because I feel like that title fight is going to come when it comes. He's going to do the same thing he did last time, just beat a couple more top 5 guys, get 2-3 more wins where you can't deny him a third title fight. You can't deny him that title fight because he's just beating everybody else in the top of the division. I think it's going to happen. I feel like it's going to be eventually going to happen. He's still one of the best to ever do it, 185 pounds, and he's been showing it.
Yeah, if you guys aren't a fan of his, which I mean, it looks like most of the chat is, I would definitely suggest checking out what is it, UFC
Embedded,
YouTube.
right?
Yeah, what is it?
Embedded,
yeah,
right?
embedded. I was thinking unfiltered for some reason, but embedded, man, he's like the most chill dude. Like he just hangs out with his dad and plays computer games and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, he's one of the most likable guys in the entire UFC by far.
yeah, it's so hard to dislike him. Like I like Vittori just because he's a jackass, but
Yeah.
and I mean, and also I'm kind of coming around to Paulo Costa. Like
I love Paulo Costa. He's funny as shit.
Yeah, I love the juice thing. Like he's leaning, dude. I love it, and it's not his management. Like it's him.
Yeah,
being a fucking dick, and it's about time.
I love it.
So anyway, yeah, great fight. I'm excited for this one.
Absolutely. Arguably, that could have been the main event. If Cyril Gane wasn't from France, this fight would probably be the main event. But moving on to our main event in the heavyweight division, we have a fight between the number 1 ranked heavyweight on the roster, taking on the number 3 ranked Cyril Gane, taking on Tai Tuivasa, minus 520 for Gane to come back. Tuivasa plus 410. Who do you got in this one?
It's fucking minus 520. Is that what you said?
Minus 520. That's not okay. That's the cheapest. It's all the way up to minus 670 on FanDuel.
Holy shit. I mean, at that point, you kind of got to take a shot on Tai Tuivasa, but I mean, inside the distance or knockout or something, I would do Tai Tuivasa KO just for funsies. But yeah, I mean, in all reality, though, I feel like this one is honestly, Gane is going to do what Gane does. He's going to circle and fight at range. He's going to secure the win in front of his home crowd. I think it's great that Tai, has turned his career around, but Gane is he's just too polished, man, and he won't lose at home. We see another dull decision brought to you by the smart Cyril Gane, and I like him by decision. I think that's the play because, I mean, that's what he fucking does. It's going to be like his every other fight, when he fights these guys that can knock him out, except for one. But yeah, it's going to be boring. It's going to be whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I can't fathom a fight where Tuivasa goes in there and knocks out Cyril Gane, especially considering Francis Ngannou couldn't do it, who's more polished of a striker than Tuivasa is, and more powerful of a striker than Tuivasa is. Gane does what he does best: stay at range, uses kicks, uses length. He's got 83-inch reach, which is absurd. And Tuivasa has never faced a striker even remotely on the same wavelength as Gane in terms of movement and speed. He's facing guys like Stefan Struve, Harry Hunsucker, Greg Hardy, Augustus Sakai, and Derek Lewis. All 5 guys that will just stand right in front of you and let you hit them in the face. And then you have guys like Greg Hardy who run straight into a punch. Literally ran headfirst into a right hand. It was a thing of beauty to watch that happen at least. But yeah, Gane should run away with this. I like the over 1.5 rounds, which is at minus 200, which is kind of crazy. And I like the over 2.5 rounds, which is at minus 120 to minus 130. I think those should hit. You could possibly take Gane rounds 4 or 5 or decision, because I feel like if Gane gets a finish, it's going to be later when Tai tends to slow down, which is definitely going to. He's never won 25 minutes ever in his entire career. Now he's got to do it against one of the most prolific strikers in a division that's extremely hard to hit.
Crazy cardio against chubby boy.
Yeah, so I really don't expect Tuivasa to possibly make the scorecards, really, because, I mean, like I said, this guy has never even gone over 15 minutes of fighting. So I don't know how he's going to be in rounds 4 and 5, having to chasing someone around a 30-foot octagon. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point. But it's weird. Tattoo Avasa, he's such a different fighter than he used to be, but I don't think he's that much different in the sense of him being able to go an entire 25 minutes.
He just faced extremely favorable matchups.
Yeah.
Like, who out of those fighters is even in the top 10? Wait.
Derek Lewis.
Oh, yes, right. But I forgot about that. But I mean, he
not for long.
Yeah, I was about to say he's not anymore after getting knocked out in his last 2 fights. But I mean, other than Derek Lewis, nobody else says he's no one. And then this, like I said, it's such a massive step up in terms of technical abilities. He's never faced anybody that has the ability that Gane has, because Gane has ability that no one else has in the heavyweight division. It's very hard to game plan against somebody as good and as skilled as Cyril Gane. And I expect Gane to be fighting for the belt again at some point, very, very soon. It's probably going to be, John Jones is going to probably beat Stipe, then John Jones fights Francis, and then Cyril Gane is probably going to fight. I would say Cyril Gane probably fights, what's his name? Curse Blades. And then the winner of Curse Blades and Cyril Gane will go on to face the winner of Jones and Francis Ngannou. That's probably what's going to happen.
Interesting time in heavyweight.
Yeah, we're starting to get a little it's going to get a little bit fun.
It does seem like I mean, as much as I love Tai Tuivasa, I feel like that they really ultimately had to push him into this fight to kind of, I mean, he's a name at this point.
Right.
But I mean, he's a name that can and will be beat. So it's almost like when Derek Lewis got the title shot against
Cyril Gane.
Cyril Gane, but he also got the title shot against Daniel Cormier.
Right.
Just after the balls is hot thing.
Right.
But it's kind of the same thing. It's like the shoey thing is becoming this like multimedia, TikTok, Twitter thing. And so you might as well, make a fight out of it while you can, especially since he didn't get hurt in the Derek Lewis fight.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because you have to, kind of ride it while he's still hot, because this is the fight where he's going to cool off.
Well, and who's to say that he'll ever be hot again? Because, I mean, Derek Lewis was top 10 at the time, and there's a lot of those matchups that aren't favorable for Tai Tuivasa within the top 10.
Right. So, and I would even take Sergey Pavlovich over Tai Tuivasa, and who Pavlovich just dispatched of Lewis even easier than Tai did.
Well, he did it in a way that was a lot. I mean, let's be honest, who has more skills here, Pavlovich or Tai Tuivasa?
Pavlovich by a mile.
Yeah, which is crazy because, I mean, a year ago, I would like to see the line of that fight a year ago versus the line now, because Pavlovich wasn't even in the conversation. I mean, Tuivasa kind of was, but both those guys came a long way, and it's an exciting time to be a UFC fan.
Yeah, I like the heavyweight division is finally getting exciting. We got a lot of good, heavyweights now. A lot of them coming up at the top. And now that John Jones, whenever he's able to fucking get back in there, it's gonna get really exciting, and I'm looking forward to it. We got a lot of contenders, and we got a lot of fights, and we're starting this week in UFC Paris, and we got UFC 279, I think, next week.
Damn, dude. That makes me feel so old, dude. I remember when it was UFC 100. I remember when that was a big fucking deal, and I had all my friends over at this, man, and it's just crazy to think that we're like on the cusp of 300, like, directed by Zack Snyder,
But oh man, I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to cashing out this weekend, UFC Paris. But yeah, that's what we got for you guys for this week's KO breakdown here on the Props HQ Network, presented to you by Playmaker. But you gotta go, guys. See that promo code right there? Go to PrizePicks.com, sign up, use promo code PropsLive, 100% deposit up to $100 on a new account. Dude, guys, it's a lot of fun. It gives you It gives you a little bit of bragging rights while you're watching the fights. Gives you a little bit incentive to watch. It's super easy. It's just over under on takedowns, fight time, significant strikes landed, fantasy scores. Easy stuff. You don't really need to know too much. Just picking over under. You hit 5 out of 5. You win 10 times your money. Easy stuff. $10 wins you 100.
It makes all those uninteresting fights interesting. I saw someone was talking about Bilal Muhammad in the comments. First of all, any Bilal Muhammad fight is fun because usually I have money on them. So
Right.
maybe you should do the same. On these really shitty fights, some of the ones that are kind of scattered throughout, put some fucking money on it. PrizePicks
Right.
promo code Props Live. It's that easy.
Yeah, it is, guys. Easy stuff, easy money, and let's catch out this weekend. But before we go, our man Jesse Hassan, where can everybody find you?
I'm on cinedump.com, CINE dump.com. I had an interview with a Mexican director, and he has this new horror film coming out, and I talked to him about it. Had a lot of questions that, I don't really want to spoil it because it's an interesting conversation. And then I have more coming up too. So, yeah, if you guys do the PrizePicks, shoot me a screenshot, and maybe I'll send you something cool. And, that way I can know you guys are actually following through. And that way we can start a conversation. Anyone can message me except for Forrest Daniels. And, but yeah, stay tuned to cinedump.com for more from me.
Absolutely. We appreciate you coming on here every single week with us breaking down the fights. And we appreciate you, everybody here watching along with us and, breaking this down with the madness that we have going on over here.
Except for Forrest Daniels. I love you.
All right, guys, but we also need you to go to Props HQ on YouTube. And, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also go to Playmaker on all social platforms. Give them a follow, and we'll see you all next week. As always, same time, back on Wednesday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are out of here. You guys have a